To my husband, the man who still takes orders from me. My name is Roland. I'm 39 years old and I stood in my own living room listening to my wife turn me into a punchline. Everyone laughed. My brother, her sister, our neighbors. I nodded, raised my glass, and said nothing. That was 3 weeks ago and I have not stopped thinking about it since. I run a machine parts distribution company in Sioux Falls. Started it 11 years back with money I saved working double shifts at a factory. Built it from nothing. Kristen came into my life when I was 26, working 80-hour weeks just to keep the doors open. She was a receptionist at a law office. Smart, confident. She told me she liked that I had ambition. We got married 2 years later. She quit her job 6 months after the wedding. Said she wanted to focus on us, on building a home. I did not mind. The company was growing. I could handle it. But something shifted. Slowly. Little comments here and there. You forgot to pick up the dry cleaning again. I had to call the plumber myself because you were too busy. You would be lost without me. At first I thought she was joking. Then it became her default tone. In front of friends, in front of family, in front of clients at company events. She would introduce me as my project, or the guy I keep organized. People laughed. I smiled, but that night at the party something cracked. It was not just the joke. It was the way she looked at me when she said it. Like she meant it. Like I was nothing more than someone she managed. I went to the office the next morning earlier than usual. Sat in my truck for 20 minutes before going inside. My business partner, Ethan, noticed. He has known me since we were kids. He asked if everything was okay. I told him I was fine. He did not believe me. That afternoon, Kristen called. She wanted me to stop by the mall and pick up something she ordered. I said I had meetings. She laughed. Right. Meetings. Just make sure you are home by 6. I invited people over. I hung up and stared at the phone. Ethan was watching me from across the room. You good? He asked. I nodded, but I was not. Something had shifted in me. I started noticing things I had ignored for years. Her credit card bills, her tone when she talked to me, the way she never asked how my day was, only what I forgot to do. I built this company with my hands, took every risk, signed every loan, worked weekends, nights, holidays. Kristen was there for some of it, but not the hard parts. Not the nights I stayed up calculating payroll, not the months I ate ramen so I could pay my crew. She showed up when things got easier, when the money started coming in, when we moved into the bigger house, when I could afford the vacations and the dinners and the things she posted online. She never worked again after quitting that receptionist job. I did not push it. She said she was managing the household, planning events, staying connected with people. I figured it was her way of contributing. But looking back, I realized I had been funding a life she controlled. Every dollar I made went into accounts she monitored. Every decision about the house, the cars, the social calendar, she made them. I just signed the checks. Her sister Angela was worse. She came over twice a week and the two of them would sit in the kitchen drinking wine, talking about me like I was not in the next room. He is lucky to have you. I do not know how you deal with him. Men are children. I started keeping track. Small things. Kristen used my business card for personal expenses, a spa day, a shopping trip, dinner with Angela. She never asked, just spent. When I brought it up once, she waved me off. It is our money, Roland. Stop being cheap. Our money. But I was the only one earning it. Ethan noticed the change in me. One afternoon, he asked me straight out, "What is going on with you and Kristen?" I did not answer right away. Then I told him about the party, the joke, the way she had been talking to me for years. He shook his head. You have been letting her do this. I knew he was right. I had been. I thought it was easier to just go along, to keep the peace, to avoid the fight. But the peace was gone. That weekend, Kristen hosted another dinner. More friends, more wine, more jokes at my expense. She told a story about how I forgot our anniversary last year. It was not true. I had taken her to a restaurant she picked, but she changed the details to make me look like an idiot. I sat there, smiled, said nothing. But inside, something had already started to turn. The breaking point came 2 weeks later. I was at the office going through quarterly reports when I got a call from my accountant. He said there was an issue with one of my business accounts. A withdrawal. $50,000. I told him I did not authorize anything. He said the withdrawal was made using my business debit card, the one I kept in my office safe. I drove home, walked into the kitchen. Kristen was sitting at the table with her laptop scrolling through something. I asked her if she took money from the business account. She did not even look up. I needed it. For what? Does it matter? I sat down across from her. That is company money, Kristen. You cannot just take it. She finally looked at me. You act like I am stealing from you. We are married. What is yours is mine. That is not how a business works. She closed her laptop. You are being dramatic. I will pay it back. With what money? She did not answer, just stood up and walked out of the room. I sat there for a long time. Then I went into my office and pulled up the account history. It was not just the $50,000. There were smaller withdrawals, $10,000 here, $5,000 there. Over the past year, she had taken over $100,000. I called Ethan, told him what I found. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You need to protect yourself." I knew he was right, but I did not want to believe it had come to this. I had spent 13 years with this woman, built a life with her, and now I was looking at bank statements like evidence in a case. That night I did not go home. I stayed at a hotel near the office. Kristen called twice. I did not answer. She left a voicemail. You are being childish. Come home. I sat on the edge of the bed and thought about everything. The jokes, the control, the money, the way she talked to me, the way she made me feel small. I was done. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Her name was Gabriella. She had handled some contract work for the company before. I told her everything. She listened, did not interrupt. When I finished, she said, "You need to move fast. If she has access to your accounts, she will drain them." I asked her what I should do. She told me. I left her office with a plan. For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. I started by changing the locks on my office. Then I changed the passwords on every business account. I called the bank and froze the business debit card Kristen had been using. When the banker asked why, I told him it was stolen. Technically, it was. Kristen called me that afternoon. She was furious. Why is my card not working? It is not your card. What are you talking about? You took $100,000 from my business account. That stops now. She was silent. Then she laughed. You are really going to do this? Over money? It is not about the money. Then what is it about? I did not answer. I just hung up. That night she came to the office, pounded on the door until I opened it. She was crying, said I was being cruel, said she did not understand why I was doing this. I told her I was done being treated like a child, done being the punchline, done funding a life where I had no say. She stared at me. You think you can just walk away? I already have. She left, but it did not end there. 2 days later, I got a call from my brother, Justin. He said Kristen had reached out to him, told him I was having a breakdown, that I was being irrational, that I needed help. I asked him if he believed her. He hesitated. I do not know, man. You have been acting weird. I told him the truth. About the money, about the years of control, about the way she treated me. He was quiet. Then he said, Why did you not say something sooner? Because I did not want to admit it. Because I thought I could handle it. Because I did not want to be the guy who could not manage his own marriage. Kristen started spreading the story, to friends, to her family. To people we knew in town, she painted me as the bad guy, the husband who abandoned his wife, the man who could not handle a strong woman. Some people believed her. Others stayed quiet. Ethan did not. He made it clear where he stood, told people the truth, told them what she had done. But Kristen was not done. She filed for separation, claimed I had been financially abusive, said I controlled all the money and never let her have a say. The irony was almost funny. Gabriella told me to stay calm, told me to let Kristen make her moves. We had the evidence, the bank records, the withdrawals, the credit card bills, everything. But Kristen had something I did not expect. She claimed she was entitled to half of the business, said she had contributed to it by managing the household, by supporting me, by being my partner. Gabriella laughed when she read the filing. She is going to regret this. I asked her why. Because she just opened the door for us to show exactly how much she took, and how little she contributed. I felt something shift. This was not just about protecting myself anymore. This was about making sure she faced the truth, about making sure everyone saw who she really was. Gabriella filed a counterclaim. We requested a full audit of all joint accounts and expenses. We documented every withdrawal, every charge, every lie. Kristen tried to fight it, but the numbers did not lie. The audit took 3 weeks. When the results came back, it was worse than I thought. Kristen had spent over $200,000 in the past 3 years. Spa treatments, shopping trips, trips with Angela, furniture, jewelry, none of it necessary, none of it discussed with me. Gabriella laid it all out in a detailed report, sent it to Kristen's attorney, sent it to the mediator assigned to our case. Kristen's lawyer called the next day, said Kristen wanted to settle. I told Gabriella no. I wanted this to go to court. I wanted a judge to see what she had done. Gabriella warned me it would get ugly. I told her I did not care. But Kristen was not ready to give up. She went on social media, posted about how I had abandoned her, how I had left her with nothing, how I had controlled her for years. People who did not know the truth believed her. People who knew me stayed silent. I did not fight back online. Gabriella told me not to, said it would only make things worse. But Ethan did. He posted a simple statement. Before you judge someone, make sure you know the whole story. It was not much, but it was enough. A few people started asking questions, started wondering if Kristen's version was the truth. Then Angela got involved. She called me, said I was ruining her sister's life, said I was a coward, said I would regret this. I told her to lose my number. She showed up at my office the next day. Ethan turned her away, told her she was not welcome. She screamed at him in the parking lot. Someone recorded it, posted it online. The video went viral in Sioux Falls. People saw Angela for what she was, saw the way she acted, saw the entitlement. Kristen tried to distance herself, claimed Angela was just upset, claimed she did not agree with her sister's behavior. But the damage was done. People started seeing through the act. Then the real blow came. Gabriella found something I did not know about, a joint credit card I had never used. Kristen had opened it in my name 2 years ago. Maxed it out, $75,000 in debt, all in my name. Gabriella filed an addendum to the counterclaim: fraud, identity theft, financial abuse. Kristen's lawyer tried to argue that it was a joint account, that I had access to it. Gabriella shut that down with bank records showing I had never signed the application, never received a statement, never knew it existed. The mediator called an emergency meeting. Kristen sat across from me, pale. Her lawyer looked defeated. Gabriella laid out the case, the withdrawals, the credit card, the spending, the lies. She finished with a simple statement. Mr. Rowland did not abandon his wife. He protected himself from someone who was systematically draining his accounts and damaging his credit. This is not a divorce, this is theft. Kristen did not say anything, just stared at the table. The mediator asked if she wanted to settle. Kristen's lawyer nodded. We worked out the terms that afternoon. Kristen would get nothing from the business. She would be responsible for half of the credit card debt. She would sign a statement admitting to the unauthorized withdrawals. She signed, did not look at me once. I walked out of that room feeling lighter than I had in years. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks later. Kristen moved out of the house, took what was hers, left the rest. I did not hear from her for a month. Then I got a message from Justin. He said Kristen had reached out to him, asked if I would consider helping her with rent, said she was struggling. I told him no. He did not push, just said he understood. Angela tried one more time, sent me a long email about how I had destroyed her sister's life, how I was heartless, how karma would catch up to me. I deleted it without reading past the first paragraph. But the story did not end there. The whispers started. People who had believed Kristen began asking questions. They saw the court documents, saw the settlement, saw that she had signed admissions. One afternoon I ran into a neighbor at the hardware store. She had been at that party, had laughed at Kristen's joke. She stopped me in the aisle. I owe you an apology, she said. I did not know. I told her it was fine. She did not need to apologize, but she insisted, said she felt terrible, said she should have seen it. I thanked her and walked away. I did not need her guilt. I just needed to move forward. Ethan and I focused on the business. We landed 2 major contracts that quarter, expanded into 3 new states, hired 10 more people. The company was thriving. I bought a smaller house, something manageable, something that felt like mine. No memories of Kristen, no reminders of the years I wasted. Justin came by one evening, brought beer. We sat on the porch and talked. He apologized for doubting me, said he should have seen it sooner. I told him it was okay. I had not seen it either. Not until it was too late. He asked me if I regretted marrying her. I thought about it. No, I learned something. What? That silence is not peace. It is just delayed pain. He nodded. We sat there for a while. Did not say much. Did not need to. My employees started noticing the change in me too. I was calmer, more focused. I made decisions faster, trusted my gut more. One of my warehouse supervisors, Greg, pulled me aside one day. Whatever you are going through, boss, you are handling it right. I appreciated that. Did not explain. Just thanked him. But Kristen was not done crashing. She kept trying to borrow money, kept reaching out to people we used to know. Most of them ignored her. A few gave her small amounts out of pity, but no one was fooled anymore. I heard she tried to get her old job back at the law office. They turned her down, said they had moved on. She ended up taking a job at a call center, minimum wage, no benefits. Angela stopped posting on social media entirely. Word around town was that she had moved to Rapid City, living with someone she met online. I did not care where she went. I was just glad she was gone. The final blow came 3 months after the divorce. Gabriella called me, said Kristen had filed for bankruptcy. The credit card debt, the personal loans, the spending, it had all caught up to her. I did not feel victorious, just relieved. Gabriella sent me the filing documents. Kristen had listed me as a creditor, claimed I owed her money from the marriage. The judge denied it, cited the settlement agreement, cited the evidence from the divorce case. Kristen tried to appeal. The judge denied that too. I was sitting in my office when Ethan walked in with coffee. He set a cup on my desk. Heard about the bankruptcy, he said. I nodded. How do you feel? Like it is finally over. He sat down. You did the right thing. You know that, right? I looked at him. I just did what I had to do. No, he said. You stood up for yourself. A lot of guys would not have. I did not know what to say to that, so I just drank my coffee. That afternoon, I drove past the old house, the one Kristen and I had shared. Someone else lived there now. They had painted the shutters, planted new flowers in the front yard. It looked better than it ever did when we were there. I kept driving, did not look back. Justin told me Kristen had moved in with her parents. They were not happy about it. She was 41 years old, broke and living in her childhood bedroom. He said her mom called him once, asked if I would reconsider helping Kristen. He told her no, told her what Kristen had done. Her mom did not call back. Angela went silent, stopped reaching out to mutual friends. People said she had moved out of state. I did not ask where. I did not gloat, did not post about it, did not say anything. I just moved on. A year passed. The business kept growing. We opened a second warehouse, hired 20 more people. I promoted Greg to operations manager. He deserved it. I started dating again. Nothing serious, just dinners, conversations. It felt strange at first, but good. One evening, I was at a restaurant with someone I had met through a friend. Her name was Claire. She was a teacher, quiet, kind. She asked me about my work, actually listened when I talked. Halfway through dinner, I saw Kristen. She was at the bar, alone. She looked different, older, tired. She saw me, looked away quickly. I did not say anything, just kept talking to Claire. When I got home that night, I thought about it. Thought about how different my life was now. How much lighter I felt. How much more control I had. Kristen had been the architect of her own downfall. Every lie, every dollar she stole, every person she manipulated. It all came back to her. I did not need to do anything. She did it to herself. Another month went by. I got a message from an old client. He said he had heard what happened with Kristen, said he was sorry, said he always thought something was off about her. I thanked him, told him I was doing fine. He said he wanted to work with the company again, said he trusted me. We signed a new contract the following week. Things like that kept happening. People who had distanced themselves during the divorce started coming back, started reaching out, started doing business with me again. I did not hold grudges. I just moved forward. Ethan and I were in the office late one night going over expansion plans. He leaned back in his chair. You ever think about what would have happened if you had not left? I thought about it. I would have lost everything. The business. Myself. He nodded. You made the right call. I knew I did. It was not easy, but it was necessary. Justin called me a few weeks later. Said Kristen had gotten a job as a receptionist at a dental office. Same position she had when I met her. He said she looked miserable. I did not ask for details. Did not want them. I was done with that chapter. Done with her. Done with the past. I had built something new, something better, something that was mine. I was sitting in my office when Ethan walked in. He tossed a newspaper on my desk. There was an article about small businesses in Sioux Falls. My company was featured. They called it a success story. I read through it. They quoted me. Talked about the risks I took, the work I put in, the growth we achieved. Kristen's name was nowhere in it. Ethan grinned. How does it feel? Quiet, I said. And it did. There was no drama, no chaos, no one telling me I was lucky, no one making me the punchline, just peace. I kept the article, not because I needed validation, but because it reminded me of something important. I had built this, not her, not anyone else, me. I thought about that night at the party, the joke, the laughter, the way I had just nodded and said nothing. I was not that man anymore. Kristen faced the weight of every lie she told, every dollar she stole, every person she manipulated. Her bankruptcy followed her everywhere. Credit destroyed, reputation shattered. The friends who had laughed at her jokes stopped calling. The family who had enabled her grew tired of the burden. Angela distanced herself once there was no money left to spend. Their parents eventually asked Kristen to leave. She moved into a small apartment on the edge of town. Alone, working a job she had left behind years ago, she tried to rebuild, tried to start over, But everywhere she went, the past followed. People knew. People remembered. She had burned too many bridges, taken too much, lied too often. There was no redemption waiting for her. Just the consequences of a life built on control and theft. I did not need to watch it happen. I already knew. I had learned the most important lesson. Respect is not demanded. It is earned. And once you lose it, you do not get it back by manipulating others. You either rebuild it with honesty or you live without it. I earned mine back, piece by piece, day by day. I built a business that thrived, relationships that mattered, a life that was mine. Claire and I kept seeing each other. Nothing rushed. Just steady. Real. Justin stopped by one Saturday. We worked on his truck in my driveway. Did not talk about Kristen. Did not need to. The past was behind me. I stood in my garage that evening wiping grease off my hands and realized something. I was free. Not because I won, but because I walked away from a fight that was never mine to begin with. And that was enough.